Today, we're talking about Aries season. Just waiting for Nicola to join us. She's going to be part of this live conversation. I cannot wait. I love talking about the different seasons and really having a chance to introduce this energy to you. We're going to talk astrology. We're going to talk Aries. We're going to talk the ups and downs, the in-betweens of what we can expect and what we get to work on this Aries season. Okay, so Nicola is here. Can't wait to get into it. Coming. Sometimes it takes a minute. So funny, you have to accept in two different places. Come on, Instagram, you can do it.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I have to say I have not slept much due to baby, but I feel very energized for Aries season.
That's what Aries season's bringing us, right?
Right? I know, it's like, of course. But yeah, I feel really energized. I feel really excited. I feel like it truly is the beginning of the year in terms of astrology, right? Like we had the beginning of the year in terms of human design, January 27th, 23rd. I think it's 27th. I can't remember the exact date. And then, we have a lot of different timings that could be considered beginnings. But with astrology, this is the beginning. And I feel it.
Yeah, this is such a big new beginning energy astrologically. And
Yes.
it is also spring equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere. So we're at equinox, which happens as soon as, the sun moves into that 0 degrees Aries, which is happening in the early mornings.
Yes.
In the early hours of the morning. So we're
exactly.
right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say make a note on the timing. So technically, if you're in the US, today is your spring equinox at almost midnight. And then if you're in the UK, it's gonna be 4:36 a.m. tomorrow morning, the 20th. So yeah.
I love this time because equinox, it's like this balance point. It's like across the world, we're all experiencing the same thing where we're having equal day, equal night.
Yes.
And I think when we're looking at the seasons, there's always the invitation to be like, okay, what's happening out there and how can I reflect that back to myself? So where do I need balance?
Exactly. And so today, Nicola and I are going to talk about Aries energy and how you can really consciously tap into Aries energy, what you should be thinking about, how you should be thinking about, your actions, your plans, all those things, for this Aries season, which lasts until April 19th. So the 19th to the 19th. And if you have any questions about Aries, drop them in the chat or put them in the comments later. We can get to them later. But I also want to encourage you that now is a perfect time to book a reading with Nicola. It is literally the perfect, any time is a good time, but no time like the beginning of the astrological year. Something I did for myself today was I did a bit of a tarot reading, looking at the year ahead, and I picked my cards for each month. My card for Aries season is the 3 of Wands, which I love. We're making plans and we're ready to manifest. Amazing. I'm so happy about that card. But look at the astrology as well. I love to dabble in all the things, but the astrology is going to give you such an incredible plan, such an incredible window in to the rest of the year until next Aries season, until next March, what you have to look forward to, how you can tap into your gifts. So book a reading with Nicola. I had to say that right off the bat.
I love that because it's especially relevant. Everyone's going to be activated this Aries season in a big way. Because we've got the North Node in Aries, we've got all the eclipses happening. We've got that whole, it's
madness. I've been saying this, April is madness. And we're not going to get into transits on this call because that's what we do inside the constellation community. Come and join us. The weather's fine. We're doing that tonight, talking about all of the Aries season stuff. I'm going to be deep diving into some certain human design gates. I can't wait. The presentation is massive, so I can't wait for us to get into that. But what we do want to talk about is the general energy of Aries. So Nicola, you have to tell us, what is the high expression of Aries?
Oh, okay. So, I just want to go into first introducing Aries a little bit because just to understand the energy that we're going into, you've already given a really nice idea of, there's a lot of energy this month. So
it's a lot.
but to really understand Aries, I think we've got to understand that it is a fire sign. It's a double fire sign because it's also this cardinal sign. Yeah. It's the first house. It's the first sign. Cardinal signs, they're all about, taking action, going first, taking risks, moving quickly. So we're already getting a really good flavor of what Aries is going to be about. Mm-hmm. And I'd say that the high expression of Aries, which I just love, it's all about courage. It's all about being super passionate. It's about being a rule breaker in a good way.
Yes, yes, we love that.
Yeah, so it's a really wonderful when we're thinking of in terms of like leadership, independence, taking initiative and assertiveness. It's the one that's here to go first, that pioneering spirit. So it's all about, being fearless around like pursuing goals, and being really passionate and enthusiastic. I think Aries is so enthusiastic.
Yes.
Which is a quality I absolutely love.
Yes, I think Aries, just to jump in on that, I love everything you said. Aries has no shame. And I think it's one of the most beautiful parts of this sign is that there's no shame. It's just like, I want what I want. What's your problem? Like, I always think of Aries as like very New York. Like, I need Colin Bedell's accent. He's New Jersey, but same thing. And like, I need the New York, New Jersey accent here. But New York is an Aries moon, which I believe it's a Capricorn sun Aries moon or Aries sun Capricorn moon. Anyway, it's got a very strong Aries, and it makes sense. New York is like, hey, I walk in here, get out of my way. Like, it's very, like, I know what I want, I know where I'm going. Don't interrupt me. I'm not ashamed. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think especially as female leaders, we need a little bit of that sometimes because we are conditioned to be so polite, so nice, so good.
Yes.
That sometimes we don't really want to step into that assertiveness and to be a bit unapologetic and bold. And I think Aries really embraces that like warrior archetype, but it's actually like in its highest expression, it's the warrior that stands up for, those who can't. It's the one that, is looking out for, the weak. It is like the protector energy. So it's a really, we often think like we can't fight, there's like a bit of a negative association, but somebody needs to fight the good fight sometimes.
Somebody's gotta like put their foot down at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think so there's this warrior energy, which I think can be, really can translate in a very high expression. And I think there's this also, if you think about the I am statement, so each zodiac sign has this I am statement associated to it. And Aries literally is just I am. I am.
Yes. Yes.
And this is period. Not because I've done this or I've achieved that. It's like literally like I am like the spark of life, and just being like here, being given this opportunity to be in a body and alive is enough.
It's so true. Like Aries doesn't have this sense of needing to earn it. Whereas with some of the other cardinal signs, you think of Capricorn as like working hard. You think of Libra as like developing relationships. You think of Cancer as building a home and a community. Aries is like, like I am. It's enough.
Yeah, there's something really beautiful about claiming that about ourselves.
Yes, yes, it's so good. Oh, so beautiful. So these are incredible high expressions of Aries, and I think all of us can really tap into that. Whether you have any planets in Aries, whether you are in Aries or not, doesn't matter. We're all experiencing this energy for the next, month, and it's a beautiful invitation to tap into that. Like, I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to explain what I want. I just want it, and I just am who I am. What about the low expression of Aries?
Okay, so every sign does have a high and a low. And, Aries is so connected to the ego, that when it's healthy, that expresses itself as like a healthy confidence, a healthy self-belief. But in its low expression, it's it can be a bit selfish, it can be combative, it can be egotistical.
Yes.
So you know, it's the sign that's all about me, but is it all about me, irregardless of like who's around me?
Yeah, like
so
at the expense of other people.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, you know, I wouldn't say that, you know, anger, I don't think is an unhealthy emotion, but in the low expression, perhaps, you know, we're not processing anger in a healthy way when it comes to when it comes to Aries. You know, then we are, how can I say, aggressive, reactive, or, you know, when you've got like some kind of sore and it just looks angry, it's like that's the state that we don't necessarily want to get stuck in. I would say, you know, it can also be maybe a bit impulsive, a little bit reckless.
Yes, definitely. Reckless. It's such a fine line, isn't it, to being an adventurous risk taker and being reckless. Like, it's such a fine line.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I love this. So Richard Branson, whose midheaven is in Aries.
Is it? You know, I don't have him on my list. That's so interesting.
So he's got this beautiful Aries placement, and we all kind of know him as this bold risk taker, this entrepreneur. He very famously says that he is not a risk taker, but a risk mitigator.
Ooh, that's really interesting. That's such an interesting way to see it. He's a fascinating character.
So fascinating. So I really kind of like that when we're looking at, like, you know, how can we, again, play with these different sides of the coin, and how can we work with this?
Yeah, and I mean, you know, you and I are entrepreneurs, and most of the people I think who watch our content are entrepreneurs. And I think there is something, you know, everyone says entrepreneurs are crazy. I agree. Yes, we are. But, you know, a lot of part that, like, why people say that, like why people say we're crazy, is because we do take bigger risks than kind of normal people, the average person. And we do have bigger hopes and bigger dreams and bigger kind of like, well, what if it worked? Like, what if it could happen? What if I do get this deal? What if I do, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And we're very optimistic. And I think that there's something about Aries that is really that, like, openness. Like, we see it in the human design during Aries season as well. There's a lot of heart chakra, like basically half of the month we're in the heart chakra. The sun is in the heart chakra, which is really cool. And which is like the heart and the G center combined. And it's amazing. There's this openness, this hopefulness, this optimism. And I kind of feel like you gotta live life that way. Like, because I just can't, maybe I'm just wired that way, but I cannot live expecting the worst. Like, that's when I get into the pit of despair, and we don't want to be there.
No, we don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good. So how can people, like, what should people look forward to or be wary of? Like, let's think about kind of in relationships maybe, or in business. I know there's eclipses coming, but just in general, also in Aries season, what should they look forward to?
Well, I kind of love what you just said about optimism. And I think, like, very much like over the next month, we can really kind of look forward to this surge of energy. This kind of sense of motivation and enthusiasm, which is, it, like you said, it's such a beautiful heart energy to work with. Like, it really is, it is the start of the season. It's the start of spring, or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's the start of fall. And it's like this time, you know, for new beginnings, for the start of something new, a new season. So you can be like, what new season am I walking into? You know, it's time to be bold, to take like that initiative, like that step towards any of your personal goals. And if you think about it, it's like, you know, Aries doesn't ask for permission. So where have you been looking for permission to follow like your heart? And like, this is really your time. It's your time to write your own permission slip and go if you want. I think the thing to be wary of is it's, you know, Aries likes to move quick. Like we said, it's double fire. So you might feel a little bit impatient and frustrated if things aren't moving fast enough.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, you know, like, we've got Mercury retrograde.
Oh my God. I was just thinking that. I'm like, this is going to be the weirdest like roller coaster ride for people, because it's Mercury retrograde which is about slowing down.
And it's
At
in
the same
Aries.
time, yeah, it's about eclipses, which are like rapid change, and Aries season, which
Yeah.
is like go, go, go.
Yeah.
So I feel like people are going to feel very overwhelmed sometimes, and very kind of like, if we're trying to control everything, it's not going to work. Like, we're going to have to be flexible. We're going to have to go with the flow. We're going to have to roll with the punches and like see the potential of what's happening and why and how we can ride it.
Absolutely. I think like flexible is such a good word to go into this next month. And like we were saying, like I think a good thing is like, yes, Aries wants to like take risks, but it's like maybe just check before you leap. So
Yes.
like we were saying, like, we said about Richard Branson, it's like mitigate the risk. It's not about not taking the risk, but it's about mitigating the risk where we can, and then just being willing for things to unfold in the timeline that they're meant to unfold in. So there is going to be a little bit of, yeah.
Yeah, like trust the process. I feel like eclipse season is always trust the process, but even more so with Aries, because Aries is so much about like, let's leap and find out. And so yeah, I feel like that needs to be my mantra for the season, is like trust the process, keep your eye on the prize as well. I feel like is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And just do the things you can to like, make sure you are just, yeah, you've checked
Yeah.
things. You've looked before you cross the road.
Totally. Totally. I also feel like there's a potential for people to like lose their cool. Do you feel like that is like in Aries season? Well, not just Aries season, but like Mercury retrograde eclipse. I think that like all the tools, meditation, getting away by yourself, having alone time, primal screaming into a pillow. Like, I feel like all the tools that we could use to, as we say in England, keep calm and carry on, I feel like is going to be important. What do you think?
Exactly. Like again, we're dealing with fire here. That's hot energy.
Yeah.
So how can we again balance that maybe with some water, cool down?
Yeah.
It can just be like take a really nice shower or a bath. Like just do things for yourself when you're feeling that energy. Just you want to burn bright. You don't want to burn out. So
Exactly. I love this. Last year I ran a program called Burn Bright, and I was like, it makes so much sense. Like, it's so easy for us to burn out when we're like riding high. We're like, go for the gold, da 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 da. But I really feel like Mercury retrograde is almost here to like remind us and help us to chill a little bit and be like, okay, yes, be ambitious, take risks, and plan it out and go with the flow.
Yeah, and just look after yourself. If it starts feeling like it's too much, I think the retrogrades are such a great invitation for us to look after ourselves, to like take a pause when we need it. And just
take a pause and keep it simple. Aries is so good at keeping it simple.
Yes, exactly. Don't overcomplicate it. Use that nice Aries, just keep it simple.
We tend to overcomplicate it. Like, I do this all the time. Like, like on the daily, I'm like, ooh, I need to do this and this and this, and I'm like, wait, I could probably do this in one step instead of five. Let me do that for myself and give myself back a little bit of time. So
Yes.
I love it. Thank you so much. I hope this was really helpful for people. This was great for me because it's such a good reminder. Like, we're moving out of Pisces season. We had a very deep, emotional, watery season, and now we're going into action mode. And sometimes the transition between the two can be a little, like a little jerky, a little like, oh my God, I need to catch my breath. And so I love that we get to have these conversations and talk about the season ahead. You get to share all of your incredible wisdom with us, Nicola. And everyone, remember, like, go and book a reading with Nicola. Human design, astrology, or both combined, or buy a birthday gift for your Aries bestie. Because this season, I think a lot of people are going to be needing some support, needing some insight, needing like that outward cool-headed perspective of someone like you, Nicola, with your like cooling Taurus energy, calming. Like, we need that in our lives. So I'm so excited for those who get to work with you.
I love this conversation, Rachel, and I love hearing your perspective always. And I'm looking forward to your call tonight in the constellation community, all about the month ahead. That's going to be super fun.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. I can't wait. Oh, well, I will see you there. Cheers. Bye, everyone. Happy
Bye.
Aries season. Bye.